Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Murg Mayhem, where one take can cause mayhem. Sorry about not being able to post an episode yesterday. I had Wi-Fi issues, so and then it lost I lost the recording. So we're gonna talk a little bit about what happened yesterday and just talk about the playoff picture because basically the NBA playoffs are set and. The aftermath of UConn, Purdue, and just simple baseball stuff. And we're going to go into we're going to go into the NBA. We're going to do some NBA recapping last night of some of the games that were interesting. If I talk about all the NBA games, then it's just not gonna. It's gonna be this thing could be 3 hours long, but yeah, we're gonna talk about. I'm just gonna just briefly note that Embiid did play last night. They played against the Pistons. He dropped a little 37, almost 40 piece on them. Kate Cunningham didn't play. They're just waiting to get to the draft to get the highest pick possible that they can. Luka scored 40 against the Hornets. Pacers beat the Raptors by about 17, 20 points. But yeah, that's not really what we're here for. So I'm just going to talk about the Warriors-Lakers game. The Warriors, it seemed like they didn't miss a shot last night. Curry was perfect, 6 of 6 from 3. At one point in the first half, Draymond shot 5 of 5 from 3, and that rarely happens. He was 5 of 7 for the whole game, and if he starts making them, kudos to him. Andrew Wiggins with 3 of 5. Chris Paul was 1 of 4. If Gary Payton was 2 of 3 from 3, it's just gonna be a long night. For the Lakers, Edey didn't play. He got hit in the eye a few days ago, but. Hachimura was not on last night. He was 7 of 21. He did score 20 and get 11 boards, but for the Lakers to win, he's got to be like if he was able to shoot 21 shots, he's got to be at least 16 of 21. There's very small. There's not a really big chance for error. He's got to perform. Austin Reeves was 8 of 15, so at least you're able to get some efficiency from him. He was 22, 7, and 6. And LeBron, 33, 11 assists, 7 boards. The bench didn't really help out last night. Spencer Dinwiddie did pretty decent, and Gabe Vincent's trying to come back. So we have to, make sure that he gets back into game shape with his injury. He's been injured all year. And yeah, so like it, they weren't going to win this game at all. Like I'm surprised that they didn't beat them as bad as they could have. And 14 was the least of it. But yeah, at this point, LeBron and they got to get ready for the playoffs because the season ends, I think, next week. So, or maybe at the end of this week. I'm not really sure. But his season's come to an end, so he's got to get ready for playoffs. Just to highlight the Timberwolves and Wizards, Anthony Edwards had his career high 51 points. So just applause to him. I feel like he should win MVP this year, regardless of where the teams were at. It's either him or Shea. Jokic is a phenomenal player. We all know that. I just don't think that Jokic should get it because because like he's 1-2. We all know the player he is, and it seems like if MVPs are supposed to make a drastic change in performance, Jokic has been the best like this. LeBron has done this. KD at one point, even Kawhi, Paul George, they're up. They're the best in the league, but they're up here. They're not going down. They're just still the best. And we can see Anthony Edwards and Shea improving. So that's why I would give them to the MVP because we're seeing a different we're seeing more leadership, more accountability, and their numbers are going up every year. So that's why I would give it to them over Jokic. But Jokic beat the Jokic beat the Jazz last night. Jokic had 28, 13, and 7, 3 steals, and Jamal Murray 28 points. So that dynamic duo going in the playoffs is scary. And if the Lakers have to deal with that, they might as well just potentially give them a broom. But yeah, that's that game. Kings and Thunder. This was not televised, so. But De'Aaron Fox, 33, 8-6. Yeah, I don't know what happened with the Kings this year. I really don't. Keegan Murray, 3 of 10 from 3. So from 3, it wasn't the best outing from him, but he was able to get 15 and 10. Sabonis, only 7 shots, so I wish he would have gotten the ball a bit more. It's just, you got Chet Holmgren, one of the best rim protectors in the league, as a rookie, might I add, again, to emphasize the point, down there. So, you got a big rim protector down there, and he was able to get 13 boards like he normally does, but he was not offensively other than pick and roll. Plus, he was in foul trouble most of the game. He had 5 fouls. So, but yeah, I mean, Shea had 40. Jalen Williams had 11. Their supporting cast is crazy going into the playoffs. Gordon Hayward didn't play last night. They don't really need him to. But yeah, the Kings had at one point the largest lead of the game was 20, and they lost the lead. And OKC was able to come back. OKC did shoot better, but at the same time, you can't give up that 20-point lead. That's kind of inexcusable, but that's all right because the Kings are in the playoffs, and hopefully they'll figure it out sooner rather than later. Clippers and Suns, another really, really good game to an extent. James Harden and Kawhi were injured, so they did not play in this game. Paul George led his team in scoring with 23, as he should. Zubac 17 and 13. So those two guys, normal starters, played very well. Terrence Mann scored 17, 8 of 10 from the field. So when you have him going like that, he only shot 1 3, but at the same time, he's a guy that they're going to need to be efficient on limited shots going into the playoffs. Norman Powell's normally the bench guy. He got the start last night, and he scored 10 off the. He scored 10, and Amir Coffey, just a role player, but he was able to score 13 off the bench to give them some variety scoring from there, and then. This game is really about Russell Westbrook. He had 16, 15, and 15, so he can still perform like this every once in a while. Shot 2 of 4 from 3, so and with playing against the Suns, not only does he play against Kevin Durant, but they get to play one of the loaded teams in the West. And I still don't understand the rotation for Frank Vogel, honestly. Royce O'Neal and Eric Gordon played 29 minutes. Both of them. Eric Gordon had 11 points, 3 of 8 from 3, 4 of 9. So, I mean, that's pretty decent for him. For at his stage of his career, he's not going to be the Houston where he's going to come off the bench and shoot 12 threes and probably make 4 to 6 of them. But, and then Royce O'Neal, 10 and 11. So he's just a guy that's going to play defense. He got 2 steals as well last night, but Bol only playing 7 minutes. I don't understand that. And then you sign Isaiah Thomas for the rest of the season, just to sit on the bench, which he's happy because he's in the NBA and gets to get some paychecks. But Grayson Allen didn't make any of his threes last night. Durant was 8 of 22. Grayson Allen was 3 of 13 for the game. Bradley Beal scored 19, 6 of 13, and then Devin Booker was 1 of 11. They did go to the free throw line, but they weren't able to make a shot, honestly. They also got out rebounded. Phoenix did. I just feel like their intensity for getting rebounds is not there. I know that, the ball is gonna, you never know where the ball is gonna go, obviously. But I mean, if the Clippers turn the ball over 21 times, and you turn the ball over 8 times, I mean, what type of shots were you attempting when you got the turnover? Were you taking good shots, or were you taking bad shots? Or, like I just said, they just weren't able to make a shot. They shot 22.9. They shot 23 essentially percent from 3 and 33% from the field. So, it was just, they probably just had a bad night, like most teams, but they did not lead at all. The Clippers' largest lead was 37, and they cut it down to about 13 last night. But yeah, the Clippers just pounded the Suns last night. So most of these games that were played last night were basically 12 points or over. The worst was, I think it was Mavericks and Hornets, but but yeah, so that was basically that was the NBA recap last night. We're going to switch from NBA basketball to college basketball. Lots of people were talking about Zach Edey, and where he could go in the NBA if he can play in the NBA. My thoughts on it. I don't understand why he wouldn't be able to play in the NBA. Like, at the same time, you have to know how dominant this dude was in college. He tore up that guy at UConn. Nearly dropped 40 on that dude. And I know the post offense is a little outdated. It is, but at the same time, like, you have to have different areas on the floor, and different players on the floor to do specific things, right? So when you look at the Suns, like, how you can see Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, they're all mid-range guys. But Kevin Durant, they can all shoot the 3 as well. So in a way, they have guys that can spread the floor, but still have that mid-range attack. And that's not really a good example. I'm trying to find a good example, a better example. I'm trying to figure out all the teams that played last night. I think the best example I can show you, or at least try to explain, is the Clippers. The Clippers, yeah. So Clippers, right? You have Kawhi Leonard, his game, mid-range. James Harden, step back 3, and slasher. And then you have Paul George, who can do both, but he's basically a 3-point guy. So when you look at those 3 with Zubac on the floor and Terrence Mann is going to be the guy that's just normally just stands in the corner, or does a slot cut or cuts in the basket off a curl, or he's just a guy that just plays defense for the Clippers, really, in the starting lineup. So when you look at that, Edey could definitely be in Zubac's position, because Zubac plays like an old-fashioned big, post offense, post up, jump hook, and he's one of the top. I think he's a top 10 center in the league, for no doubt about it. And if he can play in the league, so can Zach Edey. Zach Edey's 7'4". I know that he's really slow, 300 pounds, but like, Zach Edey's a better post player than Zubac is. Probably going to be a better rim protector than him. And if I was Charlotte, I would pick him up. Charlotte is going to be in the lottery, most likely. They are 19-60, and their starting center is, as far according to ESPN, because I'm looking at it right now, is Nick Richards. He's 7 feet. Played at Kentucky, but I mean, I really no one really knows who that is. It's the Hornets. So in a way, if he wants to get playing time, obviously that he would want to go to the Hornets, but it's going to be hard for a GM to draft this kid to then put on a team and have some offense ran through him, because it's such a 3-point driven league. I really do think he deserves to be in the NBA. I mean, he averaged 25 and 12, and in the tournament, he was averaging over 30 points a game and over 12 rebounds a game. And on the championship game, he almost got 40. He had 37. Like, there's like Memphis needs a big, but are the Grizzlies going to run an offense through him? No, it's going to be run through Ja and have 3-point and try to have a 3-point offense when we have no shooters, or we don't call plays for shooters. So, Memphis is Memphis. But Zach Edey would be good for Memphis just because of they need front court depth and they need a big man. The Nuggets could get him. The Warriors could get him, but the Warriors actually might be a good place for Zach Edey, just because not only can they run plays for him, but like he's going to be that defensive presence there as well to protect the rim, block shots, and the Warriors have had size issues as well all year. So, and this is going to be a joke, but yeah, they're going to have to. Someone's going to have to guard DeAndre Ayton too, because he scored 30 points last night, and I didn't know he could do that. So, yeah, they're going to have to defend DeAndre Ayton, who scored 30 points last night. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. He's not going to score 30 points ever again. But yeah, I really think he's got a bright future in the NBA somewhere. It's just the teams have to. Some teams that aren't able to shoot threes, and you're trying to copy the Houston Rocket, the Golden State blueprint. You're gonna have to figure out that yes, you're gonna have to have the realization that those teams that played years ago, we can't do that. So we have to find ways to help us win, and if the way to help us win is to give this dude at least 20 shots in the paint and have him score at least 16 to 18 and get you 15 rebounds and get you 2 or 3 blocks a game, then fucking do that. I don't understand the notion is we have to shoot so many threes all game, every game. I mean, if you have the team to do that and the percentages and the numbers say that you have the team to do that, by all means do that. But the Hornets, they need to score baskets. They don't need to worry. Like, their team is so bad, they have to find ways for them to be successful. And they're terrible, so they have to figure it out. Detroit, same thing. They're terrible. But they have Jalen Duren, and they have somewhat of a system to give him shots in the flow of the offense. Do I think Jaden Ivey works? No. As a point guard, absolutely not. They need a point guard to balance everything out, but they have somewhat of an offense to figure that out. They have, and then the Raptors. The Raptors would be good for Edey as well. Edey's from Canada, but I think that would work as well for him, because they don't really have a big with post presence. They don't really have anything. So that would be a good big three to build around quickly. Barrett and Zach. That'd be a pretty good trio right there. But the notion that he's going to be terrible in the NBA and that he's going to be like garbage, that's false. I really think he's going to be well and do good in the NBA. And I would pick him number 1 because he's the safest. Not only is he the safest, but he was the most dominant in the last 2 years. And yeah, I know that they weren't able to win the championship. But guess who wasn't able to win the championship? Clayton Clark. Caitlin Clark, and she's able to. She's been the best player than the past 3 years. So, but yeah, so that's my thoughts on Edey. I would project him. I would take him number one if I was an executive because no one showed me that they can dominate like this guy. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna switch over to Coach Calipari. Calipari is going to Arkansas. I really think he just left just because he didn't want any smoke from any Calipari haters and Kentucky fans. Um, yes, isn't unfortunate. It is, but at the same time, I'm not really worried. I mean, the dude's one of the best coaches still in the nation. Yes, did they lose to a guy that got hot and shot 10 of 20 from three? Yeah, I mean that's rarely going to happen. Um, but at the same time, you're getting all these 4 stars and 5 stars, um, and people are like, "Oh, he should be fired." Blah 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 blah. Whatever. Um, I'm like the dude's gonna produce NBA players. Like there was a picture, I have it in my phone, that there were 7 players that he coached that were in the All Star game this year. I believe it was Tyrese Maxey, Bam Adebayo. Yeah, I have it right here. Yeah, Tyrese Maxey, Bam Adebayo, Devin Booker, AD, Shea Gilgeous Alexander, Julius Randle. He didn't play, and Karl Anthony Towns. Those 7 were in the All Star game this year. So, and he and Coach K have produced the most NBA players in college basketball. So, the notion that he's a bad coach and he should get fired, it doesn't really matter about that because the players that he gets are going to go to the NBA. They're going to be one and dones because not only are they talented enough, but he's done it so many times with these superstars right here. And yeah, should he go further in the tournament? Yes. But at the same time, does it bother him? No, because he's preparing his guys for the next level, and he knows that he's going to get more 5 stars to win games. But going to Arkansas, I mean, Arkansas was a decent team last year, pretty good team, I believe. Let me just check that out before I say any slander. Um, no, they were not. In conference, they were 6-12, and they were 16-17. I was thinking about Alabama, so yeah, that's my bad. I got the record just flipped around. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is gonna be a new start for Coach Calipari. Do I think he's gonna be successful? Yes, just because he's the one of the best coaches, and they were 23-10 last year. In Commerce, they were 13-5, and they had a winning record home and away. So you know, yeah, he Arkansas. You got one of the best coaches in college basketball history. So you're gonna have a field day with that one. You're gonna have lots of parties, lots of W's, and in y'all's near future. But that's all about college basketball that I have. Um, we're gonna be talking about. We're gonna go back to NBA because I forgot something that I just saw here on my list. Playoff picture. I mean, the Bucks did play last night against the Celtics. Giannis did get hurt, but it looks like he's gonna be okay. He's gonna take probably the next game off, but um, Celtics and Bucks played last night. The Celtics didn't shoot any free throws, and the Bucks shot 2. So at the same time, the Bucks were able to maintain that lead, and the Celtics didn't shoot too great. Neither did the Bucks, but it was a hard fought game, and Milwaukee was able to, without Giannis going into the third and fourth quarter, up big, and the Celtics just could not come back. So yeah, great job for Milwaukee, finally winning against a good team and finally getting a win. Um, because they have not been playing too great at all. But playoff picture, the first two teams for East, are Milwaukee and Boston. They have like 3 games left. So I highly doubt there's going to be any changes in the East side. So it's going to be Boston, Milwaukee. Boston, Milwaukee are going to play either one of the 2 teams in there. So basically, all I can say is the 3 through 6 teams as of now. The Knicks are supposed to be playing the Pacers, depending on how many games Embiid plays in the next 3 and how many the games the Pacers lose in the next 3 is going to decide the Pacers and 76ers. But if Embiid plays against the Knicks, it's going to be barbecue chicken. But the Pacers and Knicks, I feel like if Brunson's able to score at least 30, Hart's 15 to 20, OG 15 to 20, Hartenstein able to get at least 10 and 10, and Bogdanovich to score at least 10 off the bench. I mean, I feel like they're going to be solid. But yeah, I really think that the Knicks versus the Pacers, I feel like I have the Knicks going there. And Orlando and Cleveland, I think Cleveland's going to win it just because Orlando doesn't have the playoff experience. And I know JB Bickerstaff, as the coach for Cleveland, does. Not only with Houston, but he was also with the Cavs last year too. But the X factor is going to be Donovan Mitchell because I don't think he's been playing, so they have to figure out when he's going to come back. So hopefully he comes back. I don't know if he would. I know they played last night. But yeah, the X factor is gonna be Donovan Mitchell because he hasn't been really been playing, as of late. But yeah, I have Cleveland winning against Orlando. Minnesota is. I think Denver is gonna win the chip no matter what. It's gonna be Denver, and it should be Boston. But yeah, I'm rooting for Minnesota to win it. I know a lot of people are saying they want OKC, but I really think that Denver's going to win. I just want Anthony Edwards to get a ring. So in the West, 1 through 5 are set. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are still able to move around up and down. I don't know. So I really can't give you. All I can give you is 4 and 5, and I really think that the Clippers are going to beat Dallas just because I don't think Dallas has enough efficient scorers on their team to compete. And on the defensive side, I mean the Clippers have Kawhi, PG, Terrence Mann, Norman Powell. They have multiple guys they can send to Luka and Kyrie, and vice versa. So it's going to be that game for Dallas. They're going to have to outscore LA, and with the Clippers, they're going to have to limit Kyrie and Luka's production by a really, really, really good margin. So for me, I really think that the Clippers are going to win. Sorry for this lighting. I didn't expect it to be this dark in here, but yeah. So, So I think that is going to work. So that's all I can say about playoff picture right now, just because 6 through 10 are so up for grabs right now. So yeah, because what could easily happen, New Orleans loses these next 3 games. So when in the next week there's or maybe at the end of this week there'll be more for sure moments there. So we're gonna go straight to MLB. Lots of games happen, and what I was trying to do in my episode yesterday before it got corrupted due to internet issues. I'm going to talk about one team throughout the whole week. I just feel like if I do that, I can explain and cover a team, so I don't have to basically for an MLB recap go through every single game, because it's going to be hard because they like 15 teams play every day. So at least do the games that I was able to see on TV, and then the team that I covered for the week. So basically maybe three games, and then the ones I was able to see, go in depth in that. So I did see the Boston Red Sox and the Orioles game. To an extent, I had to go to class, so I was able to watch a few innings of it, and then when I came back, I was able to watch as much as I can. Corbin Burns, 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run. The 1 earned was Tyler O'Neill's home run, and that home run actually damaged a windshield. He hit it out of the stadium into the parking garage up on top of a building. So yeah, he is now tied for the league leading in homers. I think Mike Trout has 6 too. I'm not really sure, but yeah, if Mike Trout isn't tied with him, O'Neill has the leads the league in home runs right now with 6. But yeah, I mean, Brian Bayo just was not bad. He wasn't bad at all. He had 1 earned run, and it's just, with Baltimore, Gunnar Henderson was 2 for 5. Adley Rutschman was 2 for 5. Santander is a guy that is always going to be somebody in the lineup that you're going to have to figure out how to pitch around. Ryan O'Hearn is underrated. Ryan Mountcastle's somebody you got to pay attention to. Cedric Mullins. Colt Kauser's been one of their hottest hitters right now. So like top to bottom, Baltimore is somebody that is a threat, and that's why I chose them to be the winners of the AL East. It's just the Yankees are playing like their butts are on fire right now, and yeah, I mean, they have Corbin Burns. That's what the Orioles needed. The one with the Yankees, they're going to go up and down. They're going to up and down like a roller coaster every year. It just seems like it just happens. And that's due to their pitching. And I think that the Orioles are going to be on top because of their pitching and their consistent contact. The Orioles only struck out 8 times yesterday. So which is pretty good. Out of the at bats that they had 40 at bats, struck out 8 times. That's pretty good. While on the Red Sox side, you had 29 at bats and 10 strikeouts. So you have to find a way to limit the strikeouts now. And Orioles are a good contact hitting team. So, but yeah, they just walloped the Red Sox yesterday. No homers for the Orioles. They do have guys that are power hitters, but they're playing in Boston, and Boston yesterday took a chance to honor Tim Wakefield and his wife for their work in their community and the 2004 Red Sox, and that tribute was flat out amazing. So if you know baseball, that Tim Wakefield was one of the best and unique pitchers at one point in time, and he died of cancer, and his wife died 5 months later. What he did in the Boston community cannot be forgotten, obviously, for Boston residents, but what he was able to do, how he carried himself throughout his career, you're not going to see stars like that anymore, and see a whole lot of players like that with the humbleness, the humanity, and just the heart that he had. Damn fly, get out of here. But yeah, they honored them, and honored him and his wife in the 2004 Red Sox, and that was awesome. You got to see Manny Ramirez, you got to see Kevin Millar. You see him all the time on MLB Network, but you got to see Kevin Millar, you got to see Big Poppy, um, Kurt Schilling, I think was there. So it was good to see, and then Johnny Damon was holding the trophy, so it was good to see all those guys back again. Kevin Youkilis, Jason Varitek, um, so it was a good tribute for Boston fans and for him, for the late Tim Wakefield and his family and his wife, his daughter throughout the first pitch. So it was a good thing to see and a good thing to watch, and it was a good heartfelt moment yesterday for baseball. So yesterday, after that game, I was able to watch some of the Dodgers and Twins. Tyler Glasnow tied his career high with 14 Ks, and as soon as they took him out, the Twins started hitting homers and getting runs back. But I mean, Ohtani coming into this game had a 5-game multi-hit streak and five consecutive multi-hit games. So coming into this game, he got one hit. He did get a double. He didn't get a second hit, but he was 1 for 5. Freddie Freeman 1 for 5. And Mookie Betts had 3 walks. So this lineup top to bottom is going to be arguably the best lineup in baseball, arguably to the Phillies and the Braves in the National League. But when you have Glasnow shoving it like that, I mean, you're most likely going to win, and they did. Will Smith had a clutch home run to get some insurance runs, and it was just a flat out dominant performance for the Dodgers last night. Sonny Gray pitched against the Phillies last night. He went 5 innings, 5 Ks, and he only gave up 5 hits. This was his debut for the Cardinals. He was dealing with a hamstring injury during the last few weeks of spring training, and he's going to have to be the anchor of this starting rotation, because this starting rotation is not good by any means. The Phillies, they had Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler pitched phenomenal. It's just his offense wasn't able to get anything going, and that's unfortunate, because it happens in baseball. But he pitched really, really well. Gorman took him deep. And that was the one time I didn't have Nolan Gorman on my fantasy team starting, because I had my man Colt Keith in there, because Gorman has been up and down. But Gorman had a really good game, 2 for 4, a homer and a double, no, homer and a single. But yeah, I mean, Bryce Harper is going to come back around. He went 0 for 4. JT went 0 for 3. Hopefully he gets better. I don't if y'all didn't watch the game. He tried to block a ball, and with one of those two-piece masks, it didn't really cover his throat, and so the ball skid and it hit him right here. He left the game last night, so hopefully he's okay. But we're going to be losing arguably the best catcher. It's basically JT Realmuto and Adley Rutschman, 1 and 2. You can either flip the 2. But yeah, it's those 2 guys for sure. But yeah, he went 0 for 3. Nick Castellanos went 2 for 4. But Sonny Gray pitched really well. Liberatore and Kittredge, them 2 coming in. And JoJo Romero came in a clutch spot last night. I think there were runners on first and third, I believe. He had 2 runners on, and he was able to get out of the inning, out of the jam, and then fired up the whole stadium. And Ryan Helsley came in, shut it down, and got his first save, I think. 4th save. 4th. But yeah, so that was a really good game for for Sonny Gray. I forgot to go back to the Twins game. Austin Martin got his first hit and his first multi-hit game in the big leagues. So I just want to congratulate Austin Martin. Um, two doubles off glass now. He was the only guy to get a hit off of him. So only guy to get two hits too. But yeah, and and these are the three teams that I think are going to be sleepers in their division. The Pirates and the Tigers are going to be the sleepers in their division. I have Angels on my paper, but if you know me, I always say that Angels are going to play phenomenally well going in the first half, and then in the second half they're going to be dog shit. But at the same time, it's a new manager. Ron Washington is a really great manager. Managed Texas, was able to get them to the back-to-back World Series. Unfortunately, they lost to the Cardinals and the Giants, but he's been with Atlanta, so Atlanta won the World Series a few years ago, and how he's able to help infielders and just bring confidence back into his guys. But yeah, I think the Angels starting out right now are doing well, 6-6. They did lose to the Rays last night, but I don't know. Like I'm trying to be optimistic for the Angels. I really, really am. But the Angels make me so mad and make me so frustrated. But yeah, the Angels are 6-5, 6-5 right now. Excuse me, and they have more wins. They have a better record than the Astros right now. So hopefully the Angels can keep that going. The Tigers and Pirates are the most surprising teams in baseball. I don't really think it comes anywhere close, because the Tigers were one of the worst teams in the league last year, and now they're 7-4. Their bullpen is fantastic. Justin Foley, or I think that's his name. Jason Foley, my bad. Jason Foley, his stuff is electric, at least 90, 97 to 100 mile an hour sinker that he throws, or a fastball, whatever you want to call it. Able to get his third save on the year. Shelby Miller is not in the starting rotation, but he comes in, and in the bullpen, he's really showing you what he used to be in St. Louis. He came in, he got the win. I don't know. It just seems like with Detroit right now, they're putting the bat on the ball. Their power numbers aren't there. They didn't hit any home runs, but they're a team that's putting the bat on the ball. They struck out 8 times, but they got to work out on that. But I mean, Colt Keith is one of the guys that hasn't been striking out. He's putting the bat on the ball every time he gets on base, not striking out. Mark Hanna has been a really great addition for Detroit. Matt Vierling has been playing really well. Contact hitter that has lots of speed. Riley Green. I mean, he didn't strike out this game. Neither, and Torkelson didn't either. But they're going to be striking out quite a bit. Gio Urshela with 2 hits. I mean, when they signed him, I knew they were going to be a way better team last year offensively. Currently, he's hitting 387. I don't think that's going to be his average for the rest of the year, but I really do think he's going to be able to hit 300 at least, or the minimum at least 275 for Detroit. But yeah, I mean this lineup drastically changed, and I'm here for it. I really do think that this is going to be one of the best years in Detroit for in quite some time. I really do think they can win the AL Central. They just, at the trade deadline, they need to find starting pitching. They need to find better starting pitching, because the people that they're at, it's not going to get it done. They're not going to be able to get it done with Kenta Maeda, and if Jack Flaherty is up and down, it's just not going to happen. It's not. I'm trying to be really honest about that because I really want them to do well. And every time I see Colt playing, I get anxiety because I want him to hit his first homer and I want him to do well. Um, but yeah, I just really think that they have a chance to do it, and I'm rooting for them. Uh, with so much passion, and yeah, I just really think they can do it. And that's the first time I've ever said that the Detroit Tigers can go to the playoffs and win the AL Central in a long time, in a long, long time. And the last time I said it was when Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, JV, Scherzer were there. Okay, like that was it. That was the last time I was like Detroit, 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 and now it's just it's coming back, and I really feel like they can. Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh has been really, really shocking. We're gonna finally get um, knock on wood. We're gonna finally get a full year of O'Neal Cruz. Last year, he played at the plate and he was out. He was broke his leg last year. But their lineup is interesting too because not only do they have power with Brian Reynolds, O'Neal Cruz, Jack Suwinski, um, and Rowdy Tellez, but they also have really good contact with. And I forgot Yasmani Grandal is a really good power catcher, switch hitting catcher there. But I mean, they have Henry Davis, who's a pretty good catcher, can play the outfield. Joey Bart, I mean, is a guy that's going to be in their development system for a while. I mean, he's with the club, but dang, this brightness is insane right now. No, that's not it. I'm gonna have to figure this out because this is bright as hell. um, I can't. I don't even know where it is on my keyboard. Um, is there a way you can do that? Okay, that's just as good. But I mean, they have Connor Joe, who's decent. Henry Davis, Joey Bart being the backup catchers for Yasmani Grandal. Joey Bart hasn't had the best shot in the big leagues, hasn't had the best opportunity. Um, but yeah, I mean he's I feel like he should be able to get opportunities with Pittsburgh while Grandal is out. Because I really do think he and McCutcheon should share the DH duties. Andrew McCutcheon, I'm surprised he was able to come back this year. Um, I really think that this is going to be his last year. Um, but I mean, this team is a very underrated team. This team is leading the NL Central right now with their record. I don't think it's going to stand, but that's just because I don't really think that their pitching is going to be their pitching and offense. I don't think is going to be consistent enough in the NL Central because of how wonky that division is. I say wonky because everybody in that division is going to be up and down roller coaster. The Cardinals are a perfect example of that. The Reds are a perfect example of that, and the Cubs to an extent. But I mean, the Milwaukee Brewers have been leading that division for years. But we wow, we will see. I will say that I'm rooting for my Cardinals in that division. But we'll wait and see. Their bullpen, Pittsburgh, has been pretty solid this year. They do have Chapman as their closer, so you already know that's well. Chapman's not their closer per se. David Bednar is their closer, but I really think that should flip around because he did give up 4 runs yesterday in less than an inning pitched. So, but they do have some guys that are on the injured list right now. But I think their bullpen is going to be a very underrated bullpen this year, and yeah, I'm just shocked that the Pittsburgh Pirates are 9-3 right now. No one thought that was good. No one thought that was coming. Because they were one of the worst teams in the NL Central last year. They were above, I think, they're above St. Louis, but not by a huge margin. But But yeah, the last news I will say is that Jackson Holiday is going to be in the big leagues. He got the call last night, um, and yeah, I'm happy for him. Happy for that guy, uh, tearing it up. Oh my God, what is this? What is going on here? There we go. Okay, so where is my face? Okay, there I am. I don't know why it took me that long to find it. But Jackson Holiday, first overall in 2022, I believe. Um, and he has been killing it in the minors. Played a few games at rookie ball, and then he went and then he went to A, and then that was 22. In 2023, he played in all four levels. As you can see, A, Double A, and Triple A, a little bit. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit more so you're able to see it. Double A just tore it up, and then he moved up to Triple A after the Futures game, and was able to get some good quality pitching, obviously, in Triple A, and gonna see if I can shrink myself a little bit. There we go. But yeah, and then this year, people were debating that he should have made the starting club opening day roster. I don't think so. I really think that this AAA was needed for him to come back and to see, because he hit 267, and me personally, I don't want to rush. I don't want to rush this kid at all. He's got the last name. He's got and we know that he's got the tools. We know that he's got the talent. He's got the potential. We all know that. It's just if I'm like Colt Keith, how the Tigers were patient with him, he could have gotten called up last year, but they want to make sure that he's developing at the right pace at the right time, so he can get his opportunity like he is now. Because the MLB, he's going into a division that can eat people alive, and Gunnar Henderson is their shortstop. Jorge Mateo is that shortstop. So I don't know if they're gonna put Jorge Mateo on assignment or anything like that. I'm not really sure, but Jorge Mateo his days might be numbered. But yeah, I wouldn't want to rush him at all. Insane contact hitters, got some power with him too. Got the speed. Defensively, he's all right. Obviously everybody can get better on the defensive end. But I do think that he could be a Gold Glove shortstop at some point in time in his career. But we can definitely see that he can hit for average. He can definitely put bat on the ball. As far as walks, strikeout is 0. So he's got a great eye for the zone. 29, he can definitely run and steal bases. So yeah, I really think that he's going to be a good player in this league for a long time. I just would like to not rush him as much. So, but yeah, that's all I have for today. I was not able to find a Wednesday, but we have 2 segments that we have to do. So Wednesday, for Wishful Wednesday, I really do hope that when Jackson Holiday comes up, that he's calm and he has a really good debut. I don't really know when he's going to start. I don't really know what game he's going to be playing, but I wish him all the success and all the best of luck today. Also, the Cardinals are playing right now, so I really wish they win. My wish is I hope the Cardinals win, because Lance Lynn is pitching, and I really think it's going to be he's going to get teed off on. That's what I really think is going to happen. So my wish for Wednesday is I hope that the Cardinals win. I wish that they win. Everything else. So Monday, um, movie Monday, I saw Shazam 2. Shazam 2, at one point I thought was going to be a good movie. It was very, very mid. And I was like, well, like Shazam is one of my favorite DC characters. Favorite DC characters. And I felt like from the first one, it was perfect. The first one had somewhat of a duality between Billy Batson and Shazam. Billy Batson was trying to find his mom, and Billy Batson as Shazam didn't really know how to do the superhero stuff. Didn't know what to do. Didn't know how to do it. And so it was a good duality. Plus, Freddy was awesome, trying to be that brother that, and and that whole family aspect of the first one was awesome. The second one, they tried to do too much with the Shazam figure. There wasn't a duality to it, and I like that. In this one, they wanted to focus on Freddy, because in the first one, I feel like it was it was Billy and Freddy and then everybody else, and this one was Freddy and then it seemed like everybody else to an extent. They weren't able to find a balance, just like how everyone needs for Superman. They need to have a Clark Kent has to have writing for as his own character, and Superman has to have his own writing because he's his own character. And I didn't think Shazam did a great job of that at all. The cast was good. The cast, like when you look on papers, like this movie has a really good cast. Why didn't it do well? I feel like the writing also wasn't very good, and I feel like this movie tried to be a little bit more, try to have more comic relief in it than actual action at some points in the story. But I would give it a 4 out of 5. And I really love Zachary Levi. I love the Shazam character. But at the very end of the movie, like he dies, and then Wonder Woman comes back. Like you see a dream with Wonder Woman and Shazam, which is a funny gag. It is funny that an 18-year-old kid is imagining Wonder Woman in his dream and stuff. But and then she comes back, hasn't been in the movie, and resurrects him, and then Shazam is like all or none before he dies, and then it's like no one, like in the movie, halfway in the movie, no one really wanted their powers. Billy was trying to hold everybody together, and like he's like, please, let's go, like we need to be together. And then they're like, well, I don't want to do this, and they all start running away. And at the very end, they're like, I want my powers back. I want to do this again. I did not like that at all. There was a lot of contradicting moments in there, just up and down. Yeah, it was not good. And I'm disappointed because it could have been so much better. Top 5 Tuesday for DC superheroes. My favorite one is Shazam, just because he's a kid that when he says Shazam, he's a superhero, and that is me. I feel like I embody that, because Peter Pan said, "Don't grow up," and I want to be as young and as youthful minded as I can, because the world is going to tear you down. As long as you can have a smile on your face, and just have joy, that's all that matters. More maybe that's not all that matters, but it does help with this world, as a tough place as it is. Number 2 is Beast Boy. He can change into any beast that he wants. Unfortunately, he will be green. He doesn't have the factor to adapt and camouflage in certain environments. That's the only weakness that he does have. But every animal that he sees, he can turn into. Plus, he has that same kid energy, kid/youthful, fun energy, and he dates Raven, who's, depending on what issue of comic book you're reading, is pretty hot. So, yeah, Beast Boy has always been a really good favorite of mine. He can turn into any animal he wants, and for number 3, I have Plastic Man. Plastic Man is very underrated. He's basically the Reed Richards version of Mr. Fantastic from Marvel, but in this one, he's more funny, way more powerful, and not as smart. And he's a guy that can. He was at one point a detective, so he is smart. But he's really good team player. Elasticity is his power, and I just he's one of those underrated guys that people look past, and yeah, I don't know what it is. I just like elasticity powers, and he's hilarious. Every comic book you read that he's in, he always cracks at least one or two good jokes in there. And in the show Batman Brave and the Bold, fantastic. Those are the best episodes by far, I think, in my opinion. Number 4, I have to go with Flash. It's cliche, but who doesn't want to run at super speed? Barry Allen is my favorite Flash. I know there's many Flashes, but Barry Allen. The CW show does Barry Allen justice with Grant Gustin's portrayal. But yeah, the Flash can run super fast. CSI, very smart detective, and he is the one guy that if he turns rogue, it's gonna be very hard to stop. He's the top 5 most powerful character in the DC universe, from the hero side. But yeah, the Flash for me is number 4, just because he's been around for so long, and there's a lot. The Flash show definitely helps his case for sure. Number 5, is a tough one, because there's so many people that can just come off that I can just name: Batman, Superman, blah 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 blah. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go with Superman, because of the duality of his character. Because not only is Superman a hero that some people can somewhat relate to, but he's a guy that always sees the good in people, always sees the positive outcome, and he's somebody that that's very humble, tries to be the best person he can be, as the Clark Kent superhero, as the Clark Kent human, and I just really think that it's really cool that he can then turn into Superman and potentially destroy a whole planet. So, and yeah, he is a really, really powerful hero, as everybody knows. He's the most powerful being in comics. But yeah, I have to put him number 5 because those first 3 are my favorites in the universe, and yeah. So, sorry, Superman. Honorable mention, Batman. But yeah, I think this is it. I'll try to get Batman some more an explanation in the next episode. But yeah, hope everybody has a great rest of their day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.